Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. Today I am joined by Mr. Vishal Kamat, ED Kamat Hotels. Thank you so much for joining us, Vishal. First of all, you've seen an impressive growth over the years with, by Orchid by Era. And of course, the Orchid is a very well-known brand. Tell us how's it going at Kamat Hotels in the first place?
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be on your show. Kamath Hotels is doing well. I'm grateful to all the people who supported us in our bad times, which was a very difficult period we had till about 2021. Before that, I'm grateful to because the industry had gone in a downturn from 2012 to 2014. Hospitality as a sector and India as a whole wasn't exactly performing its best. But then things got turned around, and we see a lot of improvement in the overall environment and hospitality being a barometer of the economy because it's the first to go down and the last to recover. So when hospitality goes down, you really know things are. And what is hospitality? Basically, hospitality is nothing but mental well-being of society and corporates. If a company is doing well, they will spend on their dealers. If their employees are well paid and they are having surplus, they will go in restaurants, they'll go for holidays. So COVID has shown that we are no less than hospitality. Mein hospital word jo hai, we are no less a hospital for well-being of society. So in that way, Kamath Hotels turned around in 2021, thanks to, like I said, a lot of support from our bankers. Our new finances also came in, and we were able to substantially reduce our debt and come out of our challenges. And because of that, we've been able to focus on our growth. Touch wood, we've been growing very nicely and robustly. While it is not extremely fast, and we are very well aware of that, it is a robust growth whereby tomorrow, if anything happens, one, we are light also on our feet in terms of our debt. Two, every property we have, we are very particular that our guests should have a fantastic experience. Okay. And we just don't want to expand and then, dilute our quality. So the qualitative and robust growth is a more important growth for us.
Right. Also, Vijay, you're talking about debt and other numbers. I'll start by in fact asking you about the fourth quarter, which saw the decline of about 99% of profits, and the first quarter of 2024 also showed a substantial decline in profits. Okay, what are you attributing this to?
So there are multiple factors. One of the things is that there have been a lot of payments, lot of other things which we needed to regularize over a period of time. We've done that. In fact, as time goes by, you will see that the same things what we paid for at that time will basically come in the future balance sheet as a lighter, less liabilities. There have been certain things like example, property tax matters, other aspects which were there, which will be resolved in and be seen in the coming times. Then there is also, as part of our expansion, we have had to see each expansion before it matures, there is an outflow. So like example, Chandigarh hotel is there. There has been a deposit. There have been hirings for that. There have been certain back end works for that. Then there are other projects also. Dehradun, Chandigarh, Noida, or there are various certain which once they sign up, I will share more with you. So while when we were before this, we were not expanding. So we were running at a peak efficiency. But now that we are growing, their growth has a cost to it because when we open a new hotel, it's not as simple as you just put the ignition, the car starts. There's a whole training process before that, attracting the right talent. We keep them in our Orchid Hotel Mumbai, which is our flagship. We keep them in our Orchid Pune, and accordingly, then based on that, they are groomed over there, trained over there. So when they go, they don't just give you a great service, but they carry the Kamat and Orchid ethos with them. So
Hmm.
these are the kind of things which we've done. Also, we've done good renovations to some of our properties, which has been from internal accrual, and that basically especially showing the results and will show in the coming times. Like example, Nasik, we did an extensive renovation in Nasik which was around 2.5 CR, and that whole has translated into a fantastic repeat value, higher rates. Our ARR has gone up by almost double, which is considerable, because people don't want to pay just for a location, they want to pay for a product at the right location. So because of that, these certain things, same way our Goa hotel, which was doing nice, but now it was earlier a Lotus Resort. We're upgrading it to an Orchid Hotel, a boutique Orchid Hotel, where we expect the ARR to be a 200% growth. So keeping all, or at least a double growth, So a double though is a given actually, because that hotel is coming out something fantastic. So if we are expecting a better yield from our existing rather than just going on expansion, that was also one of our things. So with the group, what do we consolidate and how do we expand and extract better from it? And at the same time, looking at new properties, expanding the market as our customers. We've taken up Jamnagar, which opened recently, Ayodhya, which opened in on Ram Navami, then the Sambhaji Nagar, which opened also, Irabai Orchid at Sambhaji Nagar. So this expansion which is there, that's basically one of the things, and this will pan out once the season comes and the profits start coming in.
Also, okay, so great initiatives and well quietly explained. I want to ask you, so in the second quarter, are you expecting, because the festive season is upon us, and most of your, you saying that most of your work is almost done and the payouts and regularization has happened, and of course the
Many
expansion plan is
things.
also being taken
Yeah,
place.
yeah, many
So you
things.
believe Q2 will be better, and if yes, by how much percentage terms are you expecting?
See, Q2 is definitely going to be better. I'm very happy to tell you that the continued hospitality trend is there, that where there is a robust rational growth. The exponential growth which we saw in 21, 22 will not happen. That was an anomaly which all the hoteliers who were prudent and who are branded like us have taken advantage of. But now what we see is routine growth, and it is better to have routine growth than to have sporadic and instant growth, because then it is uncertain. When you have a robust growth, you have certainty and you can manage your costs over a length of period rather than just this thing. So first and foremostly, when we look at the first quarter, two major things especially hit us this year, which normally is not there. One is elections.
Hmm.
Elections were abnormally long. They were not normally, elections don't last for so many phases. And elections, whenever it happens, so I've been asked this question before also, how will election affect you? See, there are many people, especially in our bracket of customers, who are very prudent. They do vote. And when they vote, that time they are not traveling. And when they have work in Mumbai and if voting is happening in Mumbai, then they are not traveling. So in both times is a double whammy. Secondly, also this year the summer was very bad, so it affected the F&B business a lot. In fact, there were many articles in establishments such as yours also, which showed how certain home deliveries improved, but outdoor dining declined because it was too hot and people were reducing their overall going out. So
So you
keeping
mean to,
these
sorry,
two
I'm sorry, so
factors was a double whammy.
elections and heat wave both affected the entire hospitality industry, or just
As a broad,
from another
yes. And
perspective?
elections definitely affects the hospitality industry as
Right.
a whole, because like I said, when it's a double whammy. So if Delhi has
Okay.
elections, people won't go to Delhi. If Mumbai has elections, they'll not travel here. So in that way, yes, it does this thing. And Mumbai being one of the main, our businesses concentrated in Pune and Mumbai and in major. So our Irabai Orchid is a almost 200 room hotel at the international airport. The Orchid Mumbai is a domestic. So it does get affected if there is, this thing. But the good news is Q2 is very good. It's been excellent. Even this year, thanks to Ganpati being on the weekend, the overall post Ganpati effect hangover which remains is not been there. So this year you will find there has been good growth for Mumbai hotels, or I'd say Maharashtra hotels, even this season as we speak.
Okay. And could you give us any number by how much growth you're planning for second quarter?
So it would not be fair for me to give the numbers because
Okay.
right now this thing, but I can tell you that it is quite good.
All right. Also, we like to talk about, balancing your diverse portfolios. Remember, Vishal, you're into, orchid, orchid, you're into luxury, venturing into luxury also. We remember you got, in Toyam and in Junagadh,
Yeah, yeah.
you're talking about. So Jadavgarh.
Yes, Jadavgarh.
So, how are you balancing diverse portfolios, and is there any plans to expand beyond this? Because hospitality industry is such that no matter how much you expand, it's still less. So, what are we expecting out of this?
So, I'm glad you touched upon Toyam, and Fort Jadavgarh is our heritage property at Pune. It is one of a kind. It's not a replicable model, because every heritage should have its own tatva, uska nikalna, uska story nikalna. In heritage, what you're selling is you're selling a fantasy and you're selling a history. So, like Jadavgarh, there would be limited only which we get, but Toyam is our new wellness, which is doing touchwood very well received outside Pune. It's a small property, 21 room, but with a high ARR, with a good repeat, rather a referral, not a repeat, but a good referral. This thing where one person comes, he's sending another. People are coming for doing various panchakarma and other treatments. It's not a new segment. But for us, it has been new. And I think what we've been able to capture within the Toyam brand is a blend of basically the wellness which people expect, but with that Kamath hospitality, that orchid touch of our friendly, eco-friendly. So Toyam as a brand, yes, we are looking at some more. But again, this is a segment where we want to grow again, making sure that we get the right kind. So we've tied up with one of the best Ayurvedic doctors in Pune, so they're also on board. So it's not just us doing some trial. It's being, no, if I'm an expert in hospitality, I want to tie up with an expert in wellness in terms of the treatments, then my customer gets the real benefit. So that's how it has been. And when we talk about Era and Orchid both as a brand, both of them are basically hotels so Orchid is basically a more upscale, whereas Era is basically something which of it cannot be an orchid, but that doesn't mean we compromise in the food or the quality. Like example, in our Era Ayodhya or in our Era other hotels also, we have the similar kind or same kind of breakfast that we give in Orchid, which is famous of our south of India's. We have a little modified Cafe Vindhyas, which is there, and that kind of thing which we serve in Shimla Orchid, or we serve in Cafe Vindhyas there, or we serve in Era by Orchid Cafe Vindhyas in Ayodhya. So people love it. So we are not compromising on the quality. It's a
Hmm.
qualitative product, but because it cannot be branded in Orchid because the room size or the hotel size may be small or not fitting into what a customer feels is Orchid. That's how Era is. So ADR wise also, Ayodhya is doing exceedingly well. Occupancy wise, it is doing well. Politics has not affected our Astha. I think that is how the way should be.
You mentioned very more politics has not affected.
Our Astha.
Really, that's a nice catchy line that you gave us. Okay, well, I'd like to also touch upon the festive season and the growth outlook. The Indian hospitality sector overall in the first quarter, it is about 10 to 11% odd growth. You are also mentioning that you plan to expand more into wellness sector because wellness is a market that's really untapped potential that everybody's been talking about. So, what are you witnessing when it comes to expansion in the wellness space?
So wellness is one of the places which we are looking at. Like I said, since it's a new segment, and ours is basically a mix of wellness and well-being also. Toyam is not only about only treatments. If someone comes as a guest and they just want to unwind, but peacefully, there's no loud music. It's very relaxing. You want to do yoga, you do. You don't want to. For you, if your way of relaxing and unwinding is just sleeping, relaxing at the on the beautiful balcony overlooking the lake which is there. It's a water touch property. That's why it's called Toyam. Toyam in water. Toyam in Sanskrit means water.
Right,
There's that famous shlok na, patram pushpam phalam toyam.
right.
So that basically is that where आप जो भी चढ़ावा दो, पानी दो, फल दो, फूल दो, कुछ भी दो, मगर आस्था से दो, भक्ति से दो, तो भगवान अपने आप मिलेगा. That is basically the peace of mind that we want to sell there, and that's how it's been working out.
All right. And also, Vishal, towards eco resort and wellness segments, I want to ask you, you're planning for expansions, but how are you going to raise the money for that?
We don't actually need to raise touchwood. We don't need to raise any major money. We are not looking for any money. Whatever we've been doing, by the way, is through internal accruals. Touchwood, our GOP has been quite robust. We have been able to pay off, in fact, on a more financial oriented question, where, our debt was a few months back at 175, 179. That is today from internal accrual, we have paid a lump sum amount. And now our debt is today at around roughly 120, 125 around. So imagine that, how did we do that? Because we've been accumulating our funds. When the time of our lock-in came out, we did the refinancing, we did the payout to our institutions and paid them from internal accruals with rather than again refinance 175. So we've been basically which I've been telling last 2 years that we are going to come to a par zero. Where we have the kind of debt and equity, debt and EBITDA being the this thing. I think this year we should be looking at crossing that Lakshman Rekha and then doing all whatever we are doing from internal. Each hotel that we tie up with roughly costs us about a crore to 3 crores, depending on the size of the hotel. And so even if I do 10, I have to do 30, whereas our EBITDA is 3 times that. So it's not a worry for us. So we don't want to overextend ourselves by taking debt. In fact, we'll manage what we have and just keep enough to be net positive.
Right. Also, I want to ask you that what's your plan about tier two, tier three cities? Because that's where a lot of hotel chains, hospitality sector is focusing on because the tier two, tier three cities are now coming up with wanting to have such needs and wants for themselves as well. With subsequent startup capitals also becoming like this. So, are you focusing on tier two, tier three?
We are primarily focusing on tier 2 and tier 3. The reason being that there is in the tier 1 market, sabka pet bhara hua hai, you are fighting for a Me Too market. In
Okay.
the case of a tier 2 and a tier 3, there is huge aspiration.
Okay.
I was today I had met the delegation that came from, as chairman of CI Maharashtra. Today I had met the delegation that came from Bihar and invest in Bihar. They are wanting to do an event which is there in the evening, which I'll be chairing and doing, along with the on the dais, having various CM and other people. So what was their question? And I answered them. I said, in fact, all the more I'm looking at a tier 2 and a tier 3 city, and even within the metros, or I would say capitals, within the capitals also, looking at a Ranchi, looking at a Patna, looking at a, like, we are already in Bhubaneswar, and we've been in Bhubaneswar much ahead where other people thought of. Why? Because there is a lot of untapped aspiration, and Commerce can fulfill that aspiration in the F&B, in the stay, and that is where the opportunity lies in the long term. So
So
it
by
might be
when are you
sometimes
looking
this.
at expansion, and you'll do it through
So
internal accruals only?
sorry.
So by when are you looking for expansion, and
No,
if
we
that
are.
happen only
As
through
we
internal
speak,
accruals?
there are certain cities which, with Ranchi is there, which as we speak, we are looking at. See, till they are not signed up, now it's not fair for me
Of
to
course,
mention
fair
and
enough.
this thing. But once they get
And
signed up, immediately we inform you, or rather we inform the stock exchange also, as
right,
per we supposed to.
and these
So
expansions are happening through internal accruals only.
all internal. We
Right.
do not
So
require
what's
to
my
raise
last
any
set of
fund.
question, Vishal? How about international markets? Do they excite you?
See, everything excites you, but you should know how to control your excitement and where to focus and take out the better opportunity. I was recently in one program where I was invited by the Milken Institute, and there also I was asked the same question by one person that, you were having restaurants and all in America. In fact, the head of the Milken Foundation, who had come from LA, she happened to know, and so she was saying, "Why aren't you again doing in America? You were there." So the main thing is that while there's great opportunity in Europe, in America, in wherever, there's no less opportunity in India today. And rather than me spend my time in an aeroplane, which already I do a lot in India, why
Mhm.
would I want to right now, overstretch ourselves and look at it? So then let me first expand more. Let me first make myself more strong where I am home. Then automatically international expansion we can see.
All right. And how is the response at Ayodhya? You mentioned that politics has not affected the Asta. Is the beat still there?
No, no, there is no, it's not the heat or cold is not. It's basically, it is something which is a global pride. It's not only for, actually, if you look at it, it's something which transcends beyond boundaries. Okay. And I
Right.
think that it's nothing about being a hot item for the day or the year or the month. It is permanent to be there. And more hotels will come, more hotels should come, because if more hotels come, then more travelers will come, and overall the area benefits, overall the economy benefits. We gone are the days where we are just going to see the deity. Now we are going to see the deity, the complex, the overall. And if you see how, as a child, this used to happen, that the temple or the excursion used to be an excuse. And after that, when I was small, my parents would take me to Tirupati, and we'd go to Tirupati at least 3 or 4 times in that era, at least 3 or 4 times a year at times, and because my father was a great believer of Shri Venkateshwara, and what he would do is every time he'd open a new restaurant, then he would grow a beard while opening it, and after the 40 days or 45 days that he'd open a restaurant, he'd take us and he'd go to Tirupati. Sometimes he'd go alone, and after that, what would we do? We would see Chennai, we would go to Mahabalipuram, we do something more. So I think that which is has come back in the Asta also, the aspiration also, and I think that should continue.
Right. All right, Vishal, pleasure speaking to you, and I wish
Thank
you
you.
all the best for your expansion plans. That was
Thank you.
Vishal Kamat speaking to Business Today TV on how the company is planning expansion and, of course, reducing its debt. And there's no need to raise capital. But the big headline is that politics has not affected the Asta. Thank you, Vishal, for speaking to Business
Thank
Today.
you.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share, and subscribe.